Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast, the no bullshit podcast for the outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into hunting, fishing, fine wines and even finer foods, you've come to the right place. So pull up a chair. Hello and welcome to the Irish Hunting Podcast. On this week's episode number 65, ye spoke and we listened. We've got two guys on that are going to talk all things target shooting. They're going to talk to us about the new PRS League that's been set up in Ireland and about some of the exciting upcoming events they're going to take part in. That is Shane Conlon and Dean Farrell will be on. We'll also bring you a roundup of news and events from around the country and we'll have a bit of crack along the way. Hope you all enjoy. Anthony Grogan. What is going on, lad?
We're back, lad.
We are back. Any old crack?
Ah, sure. Plenty of crack, lad.
Plenty of crack.
Yeah.
Crack is mighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a crack in my back, a crack in the back of my knee, crack in my ankle.
I'm the same. I'm completely falling asunder.
But I have, how is the arm?
Arm is... I made a conscious decision. I'm fucking just not even going to bother my bollocks doing arm weight. It's grand. Fuck it. Yeah, that's not a man thing to say. No, it's grand, man. It's actually 100%.
See a lad now with a sawn-off rifle now.
No, I swear to God, it's absolutely 100%.
Is it?
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually up the outlet has a 100 weight. You know the old 100 weight.
Yeah.
And I went up and I grabbed her, and no hassle. So I'm happy, man. She's working.
Good
She's
stuff.
grand. She's grand.
If you're happy, I'm happy, man.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about. What's been going on with you, man? Thank you very much for bringing this, because it's seldom you do bring something here that's nice, but you did tonight.
No, I've brought in a few nice things, and I have another nice treat for us now the next time.
What is it?
I won't tell you.
Whiskey or a beer?
It'll be a whiskey now. Before the winter goes out. You know?
Right. Have we had it before?
No.
Never.
No, this is top shelf now.
Oh. I actually had a nice little whiskey last night, actually. A little Middleton, very rare Middleton down in Adair Manor.
Oh,
very nice.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no messing there, lad.
Fucking life is tough.
Look, this old podcast is just after taking off, you know.
Yeah. It's now gone from buy us a coffee and a half to buy Brenny a shot of fucking Middleton.
Middleton, lad, yeah. Myself and JP were discussing Cheltenham tactics in Adair Manor last night. But
good
anyway,
man.
That's a whole other subject. Come here, we're on the... How do you pronounce it? Leffe. But is that Belgium? Is it Leffe? Leffe in Egypt. Holy Jesus Christ. It's Belgian beer, is it? It is.
It is, yeah.
Lovely. That's nice.
It's good
man.
stuff.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's kind of refreshing. Now you wouldn't go on a session out with them, but
I'd say you'd have an awful head.
Yeah, you would. Like, 2 or 3 of them now is just about enough.
Yeah.
But,
good year, man.
It's nice.
Good year. Let's talk hunting. What's been going on? You were out, of course. I didn't get out now, but you had some good success over the past.
Yeah. We got out a bit now, Brenny. The last couple of weeks with obviously I was down with the boys in Tour.
Yeah, we weren't talking about that. Yeah,
Tour,
not Tour. Tory.
And they're going to kill me now because I intentionally put up and see who spotted first. I said the Tory Foothounds in Mullavat, County Tipperary, OBG.
Mullavat, oh Jesus Christ.
Mullavegas they call it down there.
Mullavegas, is that what they call it?
Yeah. Mullavegas, yeah. So, brilliant. Look, have to say thanks to Swifty and the gang, and obviously Owen, who organised the whole thing. Fantastic day. I had to race back to collect the young lad, but I would have stayed there all evening. It was absolutely everything I didn't expect, and I expected. And here's the pretext. So everyone says don't have preconceptions and stuff, but you dream the night before and you wake up and you think, I'm going to go down here. There's going to be a couple of small little kennels with a few dogs in it. Be 2 or 3 lads out here, and I'll spend a couple of hours, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
Okay.
This is an operation, man. The kennels are like fucking top class, like, you know.
Yeah.
There's 50 dogs there.
Holy shit! Because we actually haven't really spoke much about this.
No,
so,
because you've been away.
Yeah.
And 50. There's two different breeds, and I won't say there's obviously a foxhound, and then there's another harrier.
Harrier.
Yep.
Okay.
So apologies if I get this is the dummy version now, right?
All right.
But 50 and it can go up to 100 dogs in that stable.
Okay, be the Lord, are you serious,
Because they're
man?
breed and so on and so forth.
Okay.
But I was looking at this, and there was dogs, and Swifty was going in between, and his son and daughter were there.
Brilliant.
His youngest son, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, because I think his second son followed us later on in the day. But you want to see the young lad, man. Oh Jesus! Like he has it to a T, and he's only same age as probably Cooper.
No way.
Oh Jesus, lad! He has the crop over the back, and
no way.
And he's there, and he's firing commands at the dogs, and he's getting them. And I thought Kieran just literally went in and kind of like you do with cattle, kind of took a group of them and
direct them.
No, he was picking out. He knows them by name.
No way.
By distinction, do you know? Like, do you know what I mean?
Characteristics.
So he was picking out the ones that he wanted to bring on this particular hunt, be it for stamina reasons or for the other ones were out the last day or all that kind of stuff. So specific, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And literally opened the next thing when they get out of that, straight into the back of this van. He's a van with the side door kind of stays open with a kind of mesh grill.
Mesh thing, okay, yeah.
Because there's 20 or 30 dogs in this thing, 20 dogs in it or whatever.
Yeah.
And they are just absolutely mad for action.
No way.
And they can't get into the back of that van quick enough.
No way. Are you serious?
And he is the boss. You know what I'm saying?
No way.
He has the crop over his back. They all have these sticks, the walking sticks. Yeah. Which one of the guys down there, I think it's Liam is his name, and he kindly gave Owen a walking stick for me. I was admiring. He gave me one for the day, and then he actually gave me one that he handcrafts these himself.
No way.
So Owen has it. And so big thanks to him for that.
Didn't tell him you're another half of the podcast there that love one or anything.
No, I should look at it.
Oh shit! I'm start going to these jokes yourself. Anyway, keep.
But everyone has this kind of walk, and so we left the kennels and we went down to the gathering spot, which was just outside the church, over this hill. I can't rightly name the name of the spot, but we went in the car park, and the next thing, cars started to pull in at, and people started, and it's like a community of people and buggies and prams, kids, toddlers, just fantastic. Everyone was really cool. Had a chat. Swifty's dad, who was the man that set this hunt up, I think 50 odd years ago. I think he started hunting with beagles, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was there. He's 80 odd years of age. I had a little video with him in the thing. I'm going to skip a little bit because I want to. This is one of the funny stories. It's a real Irish thing. I don't know where he got it in the video or not, right? But myself and Owen got a chat with him. He was parked up in the field, just watching. Just a fantastic day out for him, even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Watching the thing. So I was watching him, and he was having a puff of a cigarette, and he was saying, I was saying, Jesus, it must be Davey, I think is his name, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm getting all the names correct. He says, must be very proud, like the son and the grandson is 3 generations, out hunting. That's right. I suppose it is.
I'd give it all that thought.
That's an old Irish answer anyway. Yeah.
Oh, deadly. We're not known as the most poetic.
No. And Owen actually told me a story. We were walking out, and we were laughing about the thing, and he says he said to Owen, he said, he calls him a name beginning with P. I can't rightly remember it now, but and everyone else calls Owen a different nickname, you know. But he says to Dave anyway. He says one of the days, he says, "Well, why do you call me that?" He says, the gist of it was that it reminded him of one of the dogs, you know, and he gave a comment. The dog was, you know, loyal and trustworthy and all that sort of thing. But one ugly fucker or something. You know what I mean? So it was the Irish cut at the end of it. You know what I mean?
You think you're getting a compliment,
then he cut the legs out. Don't get there. Or one stupid. You know what I mean? It was one of them kind of Irish cut-offs. You know.
Brilliant.
But yeah, followed, like, for anyone that doesn't know the crop, you know, to have it kind of slinged over, and the crack out of this thing, man.
Yeah.
This is like a rifle. I am not you can hear this show.
Yeah.
And it's not for...
No, I know.
It's for keeping the sound, you know, the dogs, the command and so on and so forth. It's not for what people think. It's because they're obviously hugely trained on scent and sound and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And even some of these dogs, believe it or not, they can track on roads, you know, so like you've diesel and tar, but they'll track a scent, and you know what I mean?
Unbelievable, man. Yeah.
It's unfucking believable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. And here's the thing, right? So they've trackers on some of the dogs. Mm-hmm. So within a couple of minutes of us being there, I went down, followed some of the group, and you could see these guys just standing in the field, you know. Mm-hmm. And that's to, you know, turn the fox, you know, down the thing, you know, because there's you can imagine there could be sheep farm 2 fields away, or there could be horses, you know. Mm-hmm. So everything what they don't want is to run a fox and hounds onto any livestock, etc. So it's very, very, very well. And as Owen rightly said, you know, a dog in the wrong hands is as bad as a rifle, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So
they within, I'd say 10, 15 minutes, the dogs run the fox, you know, the sound they're making and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So, and he has this horn, this big fucking horn to let everyone know. It's like a command in the olden days before the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
But the fox went to ground. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they brought in terriers to spring it, to let it off.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, yeah.
Because the hounds wanted, you know, they did.
Yeah.
And the reason being was there was one, I think one particular fox is local to down there, and he comes in and has a bit of grub at one of the residents down there.
Okay.
And they thought that they were fairly sure that this was the fox.
Okay.
Pertaining to that house. And even they said anyway, it was to give the fox a sporting, you know, it was only a couple of minutes in. So so that was, they bolted it and let it off. And away the hunt went again. Mm-hmm. And the small bits of snippets that they'll teach you. So they'll if a fox goes to ground, or if the hounds go on a scent and they come upon a vixen, that vixen will be left alone because she'll be in cub.
Okay.
And they'll go on to the next one.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. All right. Right.
So absolutely, look at you know, what we're saying is there is death at the end of some of these hunts and so on and so forth, but it's not probably, you know, the common perception that's been painted in some of the media and so on and so forth, and even some of the stuff that's been sent to us, you know.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be there's a guy there there's huge money raised for fundraisers throughout the year, and I just think it's a real sense of community. I think there was 2 men there in their 80s, and I was thinking there's a lovely Sunday for, you know, mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all the other inputs that go in. I was chatting to Swifty about, you know, obviously there's food for the dogs, bedding and veterinary and mm-hmm. Electricity and all the other stuff. And And then I think there's a horse hunt in the kennels next door, and that obviously has its own. But brilliant, and the kids, they have a kids' day now, solely to get bouncing castles and all in the field, and they run the dogs. It's predominantly a very, very fun day and a light day for the kids. But just brilliant.
Deadly, man. Deadly.
Really
deadly,
cool sense of community, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Savage stuff, man. Yeah.
So a huge shout out to the lads down there and the girls. I know it was probably a little bit daunting for them to see the podcast wrapping up, and but a few guys gave us a few, and then a few. I was put to a test. One of the lads there, he'll probably be listening in this evening. Sprung me a little trivia test and he showed me a picture, and I had to identify a few different species of deer and so on and so forth. And he just said to me, he says, just making sure you weren't full of shite. So I still don't know whether I got the right or not, but anyway, I gave it a B.
He has his mind made up anyway.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So this one has been figured out.
Yeah, exactly.
But, great day.
Deadly, man. Absolutely deadly.
They've invited both of us back down. They're mad to get us back down and have another chat and a bit of crack, and maybe have the few pints in Mundavat, maybe. Nice.
Which is in County Kilkenny.
Kilkenny, most definitely it is. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah, look it. We'll have to book it in. Mundavat. I actually drove through it a good few times. Nice little village there. There's a nice little central shop in the middle of it there, and there's no old petrol pumps and
stuff. Said there's 300 people and 20 pubs.
Yeah, that's typical Irish.
Good old Irish village. Yeah,
good old Irish village.
It's a lovely little village.
That's deadly. Super stuff. This podcast we're kind of going to. This is one we've had loads of people, over the past 60 odd episodes message us about target shooting, and we've reported on some of the events stuff, but it's something that we haven't really participated in ourselves, as such. So I think so it's great to have the two lads on, and we're going to bring his dad interview now in a minute. But I definitely would urge people that want to maybe are thinking about maybe have rifles at home and how finished up on the deer shooting, even though it's going on for a little bit longer. Lads that have 22s at home. This is the golden opportunity to get out and try.
Lads will be packing up the rifles this time. Because we've discussed this in terms of the extended season. I think our consensus on it is. Well, it's very simple. If you don't want to shoot the extended season, you don't.
Don't shoot it.
And if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
And that's just about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
The bit in between about whinging and complaining about it, well, you can do it all you like, but it's there. It's going to be happening. Extended. So, but for those people that may say, well, what am I going to do for the next couple of months? This league is cracking on here.
Absolutely, and I think the rimfire end of it, which the lads are going to talk about now in a second, is going to be very appealing to an awful lot of people, because as we said before, an awful lot of lads have 22s at home, and good 22s and plenty of gear and stuff, and this is just a real cool opportunity to go and test them out. Absolutely. So Did
you get any hunting in over the last couple of weeks? Or
no, I haven't. Now, to be honest, no, I haven't had a chance to do anything, man. Yeah,
you've been up to your
absolutely. Yeah, I was in Limerick all this week and last week, actually. Yeah,
and the gun club is your chairman of the gun club now.
Chairman
that's
of the gun
cracking
club.
On.
Yes, yeah, that's cracking on now. So I have to try and just, as I say, last 2 weeks, I literally haven't physically been here. I've been down in Limerick working and stuff, so going to have a meeting with one of the lads there tomorrow and come up with a few bits and pieces. We have a few bits going on. We're trying to secure a little bit of funding. We're trying to put together a list of materials that we have available already. If I can get the list of materials, then I can list out what we need, get prices, work it all out, figure out membership costs. So we've a bit of work to do, but I have a few lads on board with me, and I just delegate out a few bits and pieces for them to get her up and running. But she's a go, man. She is a go.
Will you get out for an fox rant over the weekend?
Yeah, I don't think I'll get out this weekend, realistically, but or next week. I won't get out either. But the following week definitely I'm going to.
Goddamn work getting in the way.
They're so selfish. Honestly, I'm just. It's ridiculous. But
look, we're just chatting. We'll be booking in something in the very near future.
Definitely. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Just before we bring the interview, something weird today. Carlo. I drove through a part of Carlo today, right?
Carlo's weird, yeah.
I just Carlo is fucking beautiful, man.
I was down there a couple of weeks ago actually watching a not so beautiful fucking Kildare team get hammered.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, that was in Dr. Cullen Park, was it?
yeah.
Yeah. But I drove through an area of Carlow, and well, there's one section of it that's off up in what it's all like kind of mountainous kind of around it, but the views, man, were out of this world. Like you can see for miles across.
Yeah.
But then I went through. I was in Tulla. I had to come back from Limerick up through Tulla, and went through this little area, and there's like the river, as I presume is the Barrow. Ah, man, I was like, I've never been down now. There's not a lot of the country I haven't fucking seen, but Jesus Christ, man, there's some absolutely beautiful parts of Carlow, yeah? So up Carlow, keep doing what you're doing.
Up Carlow.
Keep her late.
Yay!
Yay! Good old Carlow. As they do say down there, it's queer nice.
Queer nice.
Everything's queer nice. Right, we'll bring us this interview with Shane and Dean, and they're going to talk all things PRS shooting and a bit of target shooting.
Deadly stuff.
Here we go. Lads, I'm delighted to have the pleasure to welcome you to the Irish Hunting Podcast. We have, of course, Shane Conlon and Dean Farrell. Welcome along, boys.
Welcome, lads.
How's it going?
Not a bother. Meaning to get you on here for a while. We get, as we said before, we get loads and loads and loads of emails and messages asking us all kinds of questions got to do with whether it's target shooting and even clay pigeon shooting and stuff like that. And so it's something we don't do ourselves. So it's great to have lads on that know all there is to know about it.
And going to teach us all we need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be experts by the end of this podcast.
It'd be easy to teach us, man. No, fuck on.
I don't know about that now. I think
two fucking blank canvases there you're dealing with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Talking about teaching, I'm going to go to you first, Dean. Give us a bit of a background on yourself and tell us who you are and what you're all about.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Untethered and Wanderwise, where adventure has no age limit. We're your co-host, Heidi Brandis and Nikki Mahundro, and we're here to inspire and celebrate women over 45 who are embracing their independence and want to explore the world on their own terms.
Well, I suppose to start, how I kind of got into shooting was air rifles and things like that when I was growing up, and I kind of transitioned straight then when I was in my early 20s to deer stalking and just got totally lost in that area for a number of years. And then it transitioned into obviously the precision rifle shooting from there, and I've went down that rabbit hole, and it just seems the further and further you kind of dive into it, the more and more kind of engrossed and ingrained you get in all the different aspects. And even still, I suppose stalking is my go-to, or an activity that I take part in most weekends. But then when the downtime is when the season ends, I have the precision rifle to kind of kick into.
That's nice. That's nice kind of, what would you say, diversion. Like obviously the stalking gives you your kind of, I presume your kind of release, get the boots in the ground and the head in nature, and then obviously from the competitive side, then you can go and express that side as well. It's nice to have that, both sides of the pardon the pun, the barrel there, Dean.
Yeah, for sure. The stalking, like you said, as a release or something to get you out of thinking about work or things you have to do, etc., that you actually just are totally lost for 3 or 4 or 5 hours there on a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
it gets your head right. But then the precision rifle thing is a whole different ball game altogether. That kind of plays with your head, but in a good way. It's great for the hunting side of things too, because you're honing your skills and you're building upon, I suppose, different things that you practice in your downtime that you can bring with you into the hunting field and with you throughout the season then. So the two kind of complement each other, and I suppose both myself and Shane will probably discuss that a little bit further as the podcast goes along. We'll probably touch on that.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Shane, over to you. This Shane's coming the whole way from Sligo. So we have a Wexford man here and a Sligo man. Two fine parts of the world now.
They are, yeah, in fairness. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had worse in the podcast.
We
now.
have.
Yeah.
We have.
I'll just jump in there. I'm originally from Kildare, so I'm
Are you?
probably not a fully fledged Wexford man, although living in Wexford.
I didn't know you were originally from Kildare.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've just got
So,
up pints of Maybell clad, huh?
Parrotin,
What area in Kildare are you?
Newbridge.
some people might say Carlow, but Castledermot is actually in Kildare.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's there. Oh,
Where's that?
it's down. You know that grey, cloudy part. It's over down,
Right down the bottom.
right down the arse of Kildare.
You said that the Cora Kildare was flat, and then there was the other bit.
It just rolled all down. All the shine rolled down.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That is terrible. Take that back. Take that
Oh,
back.
nice part of the world. Nice part of the world. Some nice people there.
Yeah.
in Castledermot.
Yeah. And now for the Sligo man himself. Shane, tell us all about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I suppose I was involved with shooting from a very young age. I grew up surrounded with it. My grandfather set up the shooting range here, Lockwood Shooting Centre. So as far back as I can remember, as a young buck, I was out around the range growing up, and let it be after school or summer holidays, I was constantly out at the range with the father and the grandfather, doing maintenance, things like that. I suppose when I came to age, then I started a good bit of clip pigeon shooting first, mainly kind of flapper shoots and that sort of thing. And we'd hold flapper shoots here at the range. And as I got older, we traveled the country doing them. And then I started doing registered shoots. So I shot a lot of skeet for a number of years. I suppose the father then set up the Rifle and Pistol Club as an add-on to the shooting centre, and I got going at that, and it was mainly gallery rifle and stuff. We've only 100 yards, so bench rest and gallery rifle, that sort of thing. I'd done that for a while, and then progressed on, went down to the Midlands and wanted to do the long range with everyone else. It was the thing to do, and I started doing mainly kind of F-class stuff and whatever competitions were being ran down there. Okay. Done a good bit of the F-class. We went to America in 2019 with the Irish team, myself and my father and the brother. So we competed over there. And then I suppose the Stags was a big thing, steel targets and game sports that was ran. We'll talk about that later again, but that was a big thing. I really got engrossed in that, enjoyed it. And it was always fun, the sport. I'd never seen competition as, too serious. It was always great fun.
Okay.
So I progressed then from the Stags onto the PRS, and as Dean said, the rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper, and you fall into it. And
I know the wallet gets lighter and lighter. A bit,
that's for sure.
Another national level competitor on the podcast. I don't know what it
go again.
Did I not tell you that story, Brian? No.
Cheers, Christ.
I've maybe twice haven't heard it. No,
he done a taekwondo fucking thing in.
No, you're right. That's wrong. You weren't listening.
I should know that by heart.
That doesn't matter. You have to explain in the moment.
Some sort of was kickboxing or something, was it?
Look,
he done a kickboxing fight and take over it. What he doesn't mention is everybody else was off fighting the fucking war. That was good. So it was slim pickings, yeah.
I was there. And come here, Shane. You probably slightly different to Dean in that Dean started primarily in the hunting. You started in the kind of the reverse, more so in the.
Well, I suppose the grandfather always, he was a big kind of rough shooter and game shooter. And,
right, very good.
I would have done a bit alongside him, pheasant shooting and stuff, and not a whole pile. The grandfather was mainly, the shotgun man, I suppose, and then my father then was more a rifle man. So, I had the best of both worlds, and
very
whether
good.
It was this weekend with one or the next weekend with another, I was just surrounded by both. And I suppose in my early years, I preferred the shotgun shooting, but as I got the taste for the rifle shooting, that's it's definitely my favorite now.
Yeah. Super stuff, man. Super stuff. Yeah, Dean, I have a question for you there. Right, you said you probably started off more so in your earlier years, kind of at the deer and stuff like that. And I know you do a little bit. Do you do much vermin shooting now as a part of it, or would you use would you bring that aspect, say, whether it's fox shooting or deer? Is it in a way a practice, I suppose, for some of the target shooting you're doing, or does it help, or have you seen lads that are, can you be really, really good at,
One
fox
discipline.
shooting? Yeah, at one discipline, does it necessarily translate, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think all the skills, whether you're deer stalking, fox shooting, target shooting, be it F class or stags, the more experience and time you get behind the rifle and the more familiar you become with your setup and your kit that you're using, no matter what aspect of shooting sports you're actually engaging in, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm probably predominantly stalking, but I do a bit of vermin control, if and when when the chance arises during the off season, during the stalking off season, I'll definitely get out and do a bit of fox control, and you do find that you're much sharper. Like, if there's a scenario like that crops up and you've encountered that before, or you have the skills to actually deal with that, there's just the sharpness is there. I suppose the analogy had come from like your football or your hurling or your whatever sports you engage in. The more you actually do it and practice it, when something actually comes that you need to do it in, I suppose, the moment, you're able to actually do it. You're able to actually.
It's there's a good crossover there from both sides, I suppose, Dean. Is there? And correct me if I'm wrong, but like if you're, for instance, if you're out stalking, you're making decisions probably a lot quicker than you would say on the target side. I presume, in some instances, because you're dealing with a live animal and so on and so forth, and but you're dealing with similar your wind, conditions.
Yeah, you'd actually find probably slightly the reverse, because with precision rifle you're on the clock, so now at the minute we're running kind of 1 minute 45 stages, so you've very little time to think on the clock. Everything has to be sharp and snappy, and your wind calls and your actual holdovers and etc. You're mentally processing that on the clock. Whereas stalking, you probably do get that little bit more time. Once you've experienced that time pressure on a stage, when you're actually stalking and you're getting in on an animal, you have that bit more time, and you're really well able to make a plan and execute your plan with that little bit of time in mind, that you have that time to actually think about what you're doing and actually execute it.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Shane, we were talking when here last week, and you were telling me a little bit about the PRS stuff, and I mentioned to you that, like, me and Anthony don't do target shooting as a rule, or it's not something we've done. We've often said we'd like to give it a go, but I suppose some of the long range shooting, and just from what we've seen and read about it, doesn't necessarily interest me. And I shouldn't say that because I've never done it. But you were explaining to me a bit about the PRS and the way that works, and we both kind of said, it did dawn on us. We said, this is probably something now that, like, a lot of deer stalkers and fox hunters, I think a lot of lads could get into this. I really do.
Yeah, definitely.
And talk us through it a little bit there.
I suppose your crossover from it, we all have the urge to get out and get hunting, and for me anyway, the adrenaline rush, the buzz, if you're on a out stalking, you're on a stag, and you're on the sticks, you take your shot, for me anyway, the excitement, I'm rattling after it, and I love that. And just the trigger time, it's the same on the range when I'm in competition, or even when I'm practicing. I just love, the trigger time. So I suppose for your normal hunter, for me anyway, hunting wouldn't be enough, at all. Like, I need much more time behind the rifle, and I want more and more and more. So that's where the target shooting comes in for me. You have a lot more trigger time, and I suppose, like, your distances, you're shooting all different distances. You're connecting with the gun a lot more. You're learning the gun, you're learning your ammo. You're in unfamiliar positions and stuff that, you, like Dean said, you can bring back to the field with you. So,
Brilliant.
like your normal hunter, any of the deer stock and calibers, can be shot in your PRS match. So, if you have a 243 or 6.5 Creedmoor, they're all well capable, and you have the kit anyway. Get out and use it and get to know it more and be a bit more familiar with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say to lads like yourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny. I think we've both said that. Like you just mentioned something there that's probably struck a chord. It's obviously you go out stalking quite a bit. When I speak from my own perspective, a lot of ground I'd stalk would be, wouldn't be like some of the pictures we'd see with 50, 100 deers kind of roaming. You're stalking, and you're coming home more often than not without even getting eyes on something. Or you're constantly behind, or maybe ahead, and like that you come home feeling, you're mad to get out and use the gun, because especially both our guns are new kit, and you're mad to get using them and getting, as you said, the feel and the trigger and so on and so forth. And it's probably it's not enough just for the couple of months of the year. I know it's extended now, which is great, but it's definitely not enough. And I think you've probably struck a chord there, especially with conversations we've been having over the last while there. It's it'd be nice to get to do something that's a bit more active.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I only noticed that the other day when I was getting one of the guns out of the safe, and I just not like at the start of this year, and this is a fucking terrible thing to be actually. Although it'll be good for whoever buys the rifle next. But I bought six boxes of Nosler, the 140 grain and the 6.5 for the Howa, and I still have 1.5 of them left.
Yeah, I'd say in the last 6 months I have easily 4-5 cartons of ammo shot. So that's up on 1,000 rounds, like in 6 months.
Gee, I've about 35 rounds.
That's one extreme to another. Like obviously, not every man would be, that much, but like the deer hunting, I love deer stalking. I go out, I might take a couple of animals each season, not a whole pile.
Yeah,
I primarily do a lot more foxing, and I suppose like this year I'm so engrossed in the PRS I haven't done much, but there'd be maybe myself and 6 other friends that every weekend last year we were going out. There'd be a pair and different pair, every weekend we control a big variety of area for farmers, and we had 386 tails in the one season, like. So, again, for me, the fox, and there's a lot more going on, a lot more activity.
Yeah.
Whereas that doesn't come back to the deer, like, so
yeah.
when I go out deer stalking, it's more like you get out, get the peace of mind and walk on the hill as much as anything. It's not all about the shooting with the stalking for me, but the vermin control and target shooting, I just love the trigger time. That's where I blow off steam.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
cool with the boxing as well. We've said it, like I think it's great training for, or it's a great introduction. For anyone who's probably starting their kind of their rifle journey. Foxing is brilliant because it's obviously they're a difficult little target. They're moving, so on and so forth. Great grounding in how a wild animal moves and works, and wind and so on and so forth, and then that obviously plays hugely into stock, and then you're dealing with some of the same parameters. Before anyone says not at night time, obviously, you know what I mean?
No. But it is interesting, and as you say there, like with the fox shooting to start off, because primarily you're shooting fox at night time. Yeah. And it's a great discipline because you really have to know your surroundings, so you have to know the area.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of stuff you have to read into it. So I think if you can be competent at that, it brings you a long way into some of the other ones, Dean, just explain to us, so for those lads that are listening, PRS, what is the difference between what's say lads that are out shooting the 500 and 600 yards or 1,000-yard ranges with the big rifles and all this stuff? What differentiates that PRS from that? So explain PRS to us.
So I think the main kind of aspect or difference with PRS towards other styles of target shooting would be obviously the time constraints and the different props and scenarios you encounter, and the equipment that you're using and the scenarios that you have to deal with. So what we would be running is different stages. So we might shoot maybe 8 stages in a match, in a 1-day match, or in a 2-day match. You might shoot 8 stages per day. So on a stage, you might encounter different props, and the different props may be from, obviously, you could be straightforward from shooting prone, or you could have to encounter some other proper thing that you might have to shoot off. It could be a tire or a cattle feeder or something that you may encounter even in the field.
Yeah.
So you may have to take different shots off that prop, and a different number of shots at different ranges.
Okay.
So there's a multitude of different factors that you have to encounter and envisage whilst on the stage, and obviously different stages have different stressors and different scenarios depending on the stage. So one stage might be a near far, so you could be dealing with distances. The next stage you might be firing all at the one distance, but you might have multiple different positions, and you might just have one different position, but the targets might be varying in size, going from big to small. Something like what we call a KYL rack, which would be like a know your limit. So you might start off with, say, a 2 MOA target, say at 400 yards, it might be 8 inches, and you might progressively get smaller as you go down along to the different target sizes.
So in one stage there, am I right in saying you could, hypothetically speaking, at one stage you could have one target that's 100 yards and one that's 400 yards?
Yeah, probably the ranges that we are most familiar with would probably be in the range from kind of 300 meters to 800 meters is predominantly where we're shooting at.
Okay.
Like, depending on weather conditions, etc., you might get out a bit further depending on the competition and the range and the location and so on.
Okay.
But predominantly it would be in that kind of 300 to 600 meter range is where most of your shots will be.
Fair bit.
And come here, Dean.
Fair bit.
Dummy question here now from a dummy, right? So are you guys dialing here, or do you have time to dial, or is it holdovers, or?
There would be a mixture of both.
Okay.
Predominantly, if you can, obviously dialing is more favorable because you're getting that accuracy of actually dialing in. It's not always possible, depending on time. You may have to hold over, and then, like me and Shane had talked about this before, that we said, like, normal everyday stalkers or hunters probably wonder at times, like, what is that Christmas tree thing doing in the scope? Like, will I ever use it, or what's it for?
You're talking about me here, are you?
No. We'll leave you off for another while.
Okay.
But yeah, there is valid use for it there. Particularly, we'd be shooting first focal plane scope, so your holdovers and your holds and your reticle is true the whole way out, no matter what distance you're actually encountering.
Yeah.
What magnification you run.
Yeah.
When you zoom in and out, your reticle, the hash marks, they represent the size at that distance. Whereas your second focal plane stalking scope, when you zoom in, your crosshair doesn't change size.
Yes.
So it's the same size. So it's only true at a certain zoom level, if you understand me.
Yeah. No, 100%. And you were mentioning before about you were saying there earlier about the different calibers, and like, so you mentioned 243 and 6.5 Creedmoor and stuff like that. But would lads be using 270s, or or does it depend? Or
No, like if a fella had a 270 and he wanted to go and try the match, he more than likely could. But I suppose the main reason you're looking to give yourself every advantage, possible. So, and with that as well, you have different classes. Like, so I shoot a 308. So like 308 is fat and slow, but whereas your 6.5 Creedmoor is a long javelin bullet, it cuts the wind better, it's faster, so you'll have less elevation and less windage, compared to what I'd have. So I suppose you can shoot any caliber, a centerfire caliber, but to be at the races, I suppose, as you get down that rabbit hole, you're going to come to some of the newer, better BC rounds calibers,
Okay.
And when you're talking about time limit, like what kind of time? Say you come up to your stand or your stage. How long do you have, or is it timed overall, or is it timed per stage?
Yeah. Give us a typical one.
So when you approach your stage, so there's an RO. You're normally in a squad, so you might have 8 or 10 lads in a squad, and then you have your range officer with that squad. So he's at the stage. So you'll all gather around. He'll brief you on what the stage is. So he'll tell you it's a red target A at a certain distance, and you have to shoot it from the 5 positions marked on the prop. So say you have a fence gate, so there'll be 5 bits of tape on the gate. So you'll be high and low, left and right. So any 5 positions. So then the first shooter will stand up. So he'll stand, 2 or 3 meters back from the prop, and on a command start. So he'll be given a command, to shoot already. He is ready. Okay, stand by and start a stage. So then he'll have his 105 seconds to walk in, set his bag up on his, his first position, get the rifle on, and proceed then to shoot the target and move to whatever the stage needs, So he'll work through the gate to whatever the course of fire is, and then your buzzer will go off. So, like, a lot of inexperienced lads, even myself, you'd never get the full 10 rounds off inside in your time frame. So do you go fast, but suppose not concentrate on being steady, or do you go slow, be really steady and try and guarantee the hit? So, but as you progress, speed comes naturally,
Okay. Jesus, man.
The constant balancing act then. So trying to get the breathing right, get the gun right, and then get off the shot off in time.
Yeah.
And obviously do all your kind of calculations and so on and so forth in between.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you, from what I'm hearing so far.
Sounds easy, Bernie, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't sound easy.
Come
on, man. No. I'm thinking like...
a lot of lads might be a wee bit nervous at the whole competition thing, and, if they've never shot competition before, it's out of their comfort zone. Like, the one thing I'd say is come down and try it. Like, and the RO, the lads there are very helpful. If you don't have all the kit, bags or this, that, and the other, everyone there, your squad will be more than helpful, to lend you gear to use, and they'll help you, throughout the stage. The RO will be very explanatory to you what's happening. It's a very friendly sport to get into.
I think that's what the common theme I think we're trying to probably get across here, especially the last couple of months. I think in whatever discipline you're in, and we had it with the dog community, and obviously in the stalking community, we've helped, or not we've helped, but listeners of the podcast have helped other guys get into stalking and so on and so forth. And like what you said there, I think what we're trying to portray in all aspects here is that these communities are open to new membership, to new people, new blood, and it's not something to be, what would you say, afraid of, or maybe put off of, or nervous about. Get down and meet the lads, or even go. I presume you could go down and even have a chat with a few of the boys without lifting the rifle. If you wanted to see what it's all about,
I think our kind of message would be similar to yours, to try and get people more involved in the sport. Like, it is intimidating. I know myself, when I probably got into it or started it, I was just fascinated by it, and actually it's quite daunting to try and get into a sport where you may have no contacts or no person direct route into the sport, so you kind of have to just jump in. But now more than ever, there definitely is a gateway there, and I suppose that's where myself and Shane are kind of coming with bringing the PRS 22 here into Ireland, like starting to run. We'll probably talk about it further, but starting to run the PRS 22 competitions. I suppose that's your gateway into it. If you want to dip your toe in or try it, it's probably a more affordable, but getting the same kind of experience and the same kind of run into the sport. You kind of get that whole idea. Yeah, it's opening the door for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I suppose with the centre fire, like a lot of lads will be put off by the membership. They think, well, straight off the bat, I have to pay a membership and I have to join this, that, and the other. The Rimfire League really comes into play there. You don't need to be a member. You can, have your little CZ 455 that you hunt rabbits with. Come down. It's 20 quid to shoot a match or so. It's a cheap day out, and you don't need membership. You can test it. And it's a direct replica of what the centre fire is, only your distances are much, much shorter and your target sizes are a little bit smaller. But other than that, it's the same thing. So you can really get a taste for it before you fully dive in,
Yeah. Well, I think I definitely think that's going to be game changing. I did say that to you before. I think that, because there's an awful lot of lads, have 2.2s and you buy 52 rounds for about under €20 probably in certain places and a 2.2. So it's a cheap day's hunting. And like that, as you said, to go out and give it a go and no pressure. It's not like you have to the first day you're entering into a competition. And, it's, I like the likes of yourselves. I know you'd be only more than happy to see a new fucking face down there and have a chat with someone.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
It's like, it's it's kind of weird. You love hearing lads, like hunting is weird. And I think, and even though I'm a passionate hunter myself, some of the fraternity in hunting, as in deer stalking and stuff, is an unusual kind of sport. Because while you love to hear about, Johnny down the road is after getting himself a rifle now and he's going deer hunting. Deadly, geez, delighted for him, fair play to him. If he needs any tips, give him a shout. But if you walk down the field and you see Johnny out with your permission, it might be slightly different, But like obviously the target on the PRS is not like that. It's you're delighted to see new people coming into it, and the more new people come into it, you build.
It's actually very, very social aspect of shooting. Like you develop, friendships and relationships, and the people you meet along the way, be it here in Ireland at the competitions or when you travel and go away. Like you're meeting so many good people with the same interest, and it's just really nice. It's just that really nice side of shooting that you probably don't get with, like you said, stalking or your vermin control or your rough shooting. It's kind of a more lonely or kind of a more solo based adventure, whereas the PRS or this form of shooting is quite social.
Yeah, it's kind of what we said at the start there, Dean. If when we kicked it off, it was kind of the obviously the stalking is primarily solitary. Like I know you can do it in pairs and stuff like that, but primarily you because it's that aspect, and you go out whenever you want, and if you don't have a time constraint, you can stay out as long as you want or as short as you want, and all that kind of stuff. Whereas, and it's great to be able to do that on one side. Then it's also cool to have, as you rightly pointed out there, as kind of a community, and I presume a sounding board then for what are you doing, what are you trying, what new ammo, what way are you shooting that, new rifles, all that kind of stuff. So you can get to bounce a lot more stuff, I presume, off the lads at the ranges and stuff.
Yeah, you find and see, everyone is very helpful, and we actually, although it might seem daunting or kind of intimidating to enter into a competition or into that side of things, once you get your toe in the door, everybody is so helpful. Like you can borrow equipment or get advice or message somebody, what do I need, or is this piece of equipment better than this, or suit me better? There's all these different things that you can, like you said, you can bounce off people or run ideas by, and you kind of have to make that first step and get involved, and then that kind of all happens after that.
Cool. I think that as well, like for people who have rifles, as you rightly said there, 2.2, or if they're existing high power calibers, it's a nice way to get more in tune with your gun. You know what I mean? More in like that. Our 2.2s or 1.7s come out very, very rarely.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of cool to get started with the 2.2. Go down and get a few rounds through it, and it doesn't cost the earth.
No.
And what sort of, if say for the complete beginner now, what for the 2.2 league that we're talking about here, what roughly money wise would get them into the sport, lads? What will get them set up? Like a good scope, decent scope, decent rifle, and another few bits and pieces that they'd need.
So I suppose just jumping at myself, like if I throw out, now you wouldn't have to start as high, but I have a CZ 457 MTR. You can buy them for under 900 quid. And I had a scope with a value of about €500 on it, and you're ready to go. Like you're more than capable. I shot that 22 for over 2 years now. It won competitions. It's done everything. And then on the other scale, I got a new rimfire last week, and you'll laugh, like, but for a 2.2, it's a barrel action at nearly €3,000. Like, is that going to bring me more wins? Probably not. But it's as much or as little as you want.
Exactly, yeah. And when you take that out of the gun slip, you're going to feel like one cool motherfucker.
But you make it what you can, like, and I suppose like a standard timber stock CZ 455. That it's an iconic little rabbit rifle around the country. Everyone seems to know them, and like they're more than capable of competing and possibly bringing them a prize. Depending on the shooter at the day. It's not all about the kit. I would say your scope is probably a bit more important than the rifle in that sense, because you're going to want like your dialable turrets. GPO, yeah, no, like your dial. Your dialable turrets.
I have no fucking t-shirt on there.
Maguire is plugging again.
There are other plans available.
But your scope is probably the most important. Like, I know the GPO you run for stock, and although you could compete with it, you're running at a great disadvantage. It's a great hunting scope, but for the PRS style shooting, you're going to want your tactical turrets that you can dial. They're visible. You're going to want the first focal plane, things
probably,
like that.
Probably something in the region of like a mill type scope, rather than MOA. Although when probably for 2.2, it probably doesn't really make much difference. But once you go down the centerfire route, you're probably better off buying mill, because everybody's speaking in that language.
I know what you're saying.
So it's easier. I suppose speak between each other and
without having to make the conversions.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. Yeah. So say for the man that's listening to this podcast, or woman that maybe has a 2.2 at home, that is not a member of any firearms shooting clubs, but says to himself, "Fuck it, I'm going to give this a go." What's the best way of going about it? What should I do first?
Get up to the Midlands on the 7th of April, meet us in the car park, and they'll get a very warm welcome. Everyone will be delighted to have new people on board, and just get out for the day. It's very low cost, and that first day initially, you're going to learn so much information. And I suppose there's lads might think they need to go out and buy kit to come up for the day. Don't do that. Like, come up and see what everyone else uses. Have a taste for different bags or bike pods, or see what everyone else is using, and you'll get great advice. And you can go home from that. Then you'll be a lot more confident in what route you want to go, what scope, what bike pod, what this, that, and the other. Or the kit you have could be perfectly fine, and you might say, I'm happy to shoot the way I am.
Yeah. So it's the 7th of April in Midland Shooting Centre in Tullamore.
Yeah.
And we'll be running probably at least five league matches. We've 5 dates in the diary. We might be open to run a couple at the end of the year, but we've 5 dates in the diary there. They are up on the Precision Rifle Series Ireland Facebook page, and the dates are up there. Or if lads are interested, but mine and Shane's email we can throw it out there. It will be up there for people to enter, or if they have any questions, bang us an email and go from there. But like Shane was saying, if you have a 22 and you're interested in it, definitely come along, because the best way about finding out what you need or what's the next step is actually to find out of, I suppose, people who are running gear and are actually participating in that sport at that current time, and seeing what they're using, and if you like it or.
Yeah.
You probably, I don't know whether you know, I bought me little. No, well, I won't be doing the rifle range. The one that McGuire saw me.
Sorry, I was just going to say I never should have.
It would be handy if we were shooting around corners, all right. But I bought a lovely rifle off a decent reputable.
But if you gave you the hand of a bro, you still wouldn't have it.
There was a big window, was there?
So the rifle was perfect.
She did a little. You mentioned there, little 455 varmint barrel. Would that be up to the job on the day?
No.
Yeah, more than ideal.
More than ideal.
And like, there's loads of aftermarket parts. Although you might think it's a cheap hunting rifle, you can build that. Stock and trigger and rails and different things. You can build that into a totally different rifle that is suited to PRS, or you can kind of have a crossover, so you'll have it. It'll suit both.
And that's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Like, because if you're out hunting rabbits, I suppose, I know from experience with rabbits, distance, you never know, distance with them, and they're always different distances. So if you're doing the 22 league, you'll know your exact holdovers for each different distance. So when you go back out at rabbits, it's automatically there. You have it in your notebook, or you learn it off by heart, and well, he's 80 yards, I'm on a 50 yard zero, I'll hold over whatever it is.
Yeah, very good.
It's more than capable, definitely.
Yeah,
I think there's kind of one or two pieces of kit that you kind of do need, but you can obviously borrow them at the thing, and a good bag is probably one of the most essential pieces of kit that you'd actually do need. So there obviously is loads of different companies and so on producing these bags, but I think there is obviously, with everything, there's different horses for different courses, as they say, but there's better ones than others.
Okay.
But yeah, the bag is kind of an essential piece of kit. You can kind of upgrade your rifle along the way, and a bag is like a low cost piece of kit to get into, but it probably is the most essential in getting you steady and actually making good shots. It's probably one of the things you see with inexperienced shooters or newer shooters. They probably don't have the right bag, and that's probably the biggest thing they can change to actually improve or get better, is actually using the correct bag. Is probably the quickest way to improve.
Yeah, and so what is the difference between a good bag and a bad bag then, Dean?
Well, there's obviously different styles of bags, different sizes, different fills. So probably like if you take somewhat like the Armageddon Schmedium or the Game Changer as they call it, that's probably, a mid-sized bag, so it's in the medium size range, and something with it can be either light fill or heavy fill. Probably with a sand-based heavy fill is probably the preference. So kind of like in the heavier range that you can actually get stability from. So when you put it down on your prop, it actually forms around the prop, and your rifle actually sits flat on it, so you get the most contact area with your bag. So that's kind of what you're aiming for, and that's why you see things like chassis on these style rifles, that they've wide, long fore ends, that they can actually get huge amount of surface area and contact on your bag, and that obviously brings you the stability that you need. Whereas if you're balancing on a point, you can imagine like you're getting to the triangle type scenario where you're balancing on that top of that apex. You obviously get more movement. Whereas if you're on the top of a rectangle, say, you've more surface area, you've more stability, and I suppose that's the key to making good, accurate, successful impacts, is
good stuff.
Getting the stability.
So the bag is an essential piece of kit in the day. Obviously, the rifle, bipod. What do you recommend when it comes to bipods? Like different people will have different preferences in the hunting sphere. When it comes on the day. Like, say, I'm talking about the novice now. So will any bipod do on the day, or
any
bipod, like every hunter that I see anyway, from coming to the range, to have a traditional Harris style bipod. It's perfect. Like in your 8 or 9 stages of the day, you might use the bipod once, twice. Throughout the day, you're mainly on a bag. I suppose as you progress on and you want to be getting the most out of your kit, you have go up the ladder with bipods for adjustability, for width, for height, forward legs and back legs, and you can go down that rabbit hole if you want, but really your traditional Harris bipod is more than enough, to get you going.
I suppose kind of the nice thing as well about like PRS and kit, guns and such, you're not so much worried about weight. You're not throwing it over your shoulder and carrying it for like so. So that is one luxury about it, I suppose, isn't it?
And then rounds, obviously, on the day. How many rounds would you advise people to rock up with?
For the 22 side of things, it's probably in the region of 80 to 100 for the match, and then probably a few to check your zero at the start. For center fire, you're probably talking in the region of kind of maybe 55 to 65 rounds for the match, and then a few to do your zero check and your drop chart at the start.
Okay.
So that's kind of your round counts for both here in Ireland.
Cool.
Deadly, yeah.
Cool. So like very, very affordable a day out, lads, for a day's sport. If it's, as you rightly said there, Shane, there's people around the country with CZ2s in the all kinds of 22s, not just the CZ obviously, but like, as you said, it's kind of an iconic. Every country house had one, I think, and like you can rock up there with your rifle, bipod, and as Dean said there, if you get a mid-range bag, quality bag, and you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for any person out there, and I would urge anyone that's thinking of that has a 22 that's listening to this going, I wonder, just go down.
I think you'd find and see there's probably people listening to this podcast and throughout the country that have tricked out rifles and kit and gear like flowing out their safes and their rooms, and they just haven't an opportunity or a chance to use it, or they're probably have all the gear, but they don't know what to do or how to get into it. Like, just make that first step and actually get out there and do it.
Yeah,
Brilliant stuff.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Down to the Midlands on the 7th, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, no, that's that.
Well, you won't be going. You've an old 1-7.
Oh, fucking running down me once. Jeez.
You got rid of a good 2-2.
I never should have. It was Sam Daisy was jacking up the car. So it was fucking it handy for that. Never, I'll tell you, I might buy a 2-2 yet, man. I might buy
I'd say you will, yeah. You'll buy a good one this time, I'd say.
Yeah, be that joking.
I'll tell you a good one.
Yeah,
I know there's a good.
yeah. No, I actually Ross, you might have heard me talk. He has like a, what is it? It's like it's a Ruger 2-2, but it's like all he bought because he's just pure showboating. I don't care. He won't let me say that, but you know, it has everything on this thing, and he just bought it because it kind of looks cool, you know. So I've definitely been.
Yeah.
You know,
I think his license actually, he texted me the other day. I think it's all
his license came through. Yeah.
So
So
there we go.
he'd be definitely one.
And,
You know what I mean?
yeah, there's a couple of Rugers there, on the match on the line for the Rimfire. We've seen them the last day. You'll see all different shapes, sizes, models. Like everything is capable of doing it. And I suppose, although it's PRS now, like when it first started back in 2013 or 14, it was called Stags, and it was steel targets and game sports. JP set it up, and Derek Healy below in the Midlands. And that's evolved to follow the PRS now, at an international level. So let it be a hunter that just wants a bit of crack, or someone that, that needs a hobby and they want to indulge in it. And God knows, maybe someday they can represent their country and, travel to a world championships. And,
Yeah,
it caters for everyone. You can make it whatever you want.
that's cool.
Like what people probably don't know about, our sport or our country is we probably have some of the probably Europe's best shooters here in Ireland. Actually, like the two Gibbons brothers, Dan and Rory, are exceptional. Like they're at the top of their game, and like we have really good shooters here in Ireland, and we've really good people at dealing with wind and different scenarios, and actually really good people involved in the sport. So we probably don't highlight that enough. And
no,
I think if it was any other sport, like me and Shane had said this before, like if you look at, the Olympics is upcoming now this summer, and the boxing is in the limelight there at the minute, and fighting for European titles and world titles and so on, and it's in the news, but we don't hear that. I suppose shooting is that that side of things that we're almost afraid to talk about it.
Yeah,
and people are afraid to publicize what is actually happening. But worldwide, it's growing, it's expanding, and now more so than ever here in Ireland, we have a really good a good thing going, and it is growing like all the time, and we have good people.
If you look at the World Championships for 2022, there was 5 shooters from Ireland, that went there to compete. Dean, you were one of them. And this year now for 2024, there's a massive lineup. We have 16 shooters traveling to Colorado in September to represent their country in all different divisions. Like, it's phenomenal to see it growing so much. And again, touching with Dan and Rory Gibbons, like Rory has won the UK PRS League in 22, and Dan won it in 23. Rory came 12th in the World Championships in France in 2022. It's a phenomenal achievement.
Serious. It's like,
that's totally underheard of.
Yeah, they don't get the recognition as one side, I presume. But then I would almost guarantee, and I don't know, but I would suggest that they get very, if any, funding. I would imagine. Yeah, would that be correct? Or
they have certain backing with some brands, but nothing major. Like, and I suppose they've, they're a real what's the word, basis to look at. The two of those started as hunters. Like they hunt, they shot the stags, they evolved with the sport. And I remember asking Dan, does he remember his first match that he traveled to the UK to shoot? Like, and he says, yeah. And I said, how did you get on? And he says, whatever, I won and Rory took second. and that was their first time ever to travel abroad, and
Brilliant.
they took first and second. Do it's unbelievable, to see how.
Yeah, it is frustrating. And this will probably be another podcast, but we have a sports council of Ireland there and stuff, and we're not, you wouldn't be asking them to sponsor every lad that wants to go and do a bit of shooting, or even if he wants to travel. But when lads are at that level and going to the world championships, which is obviously going to put a lot of lads at a fair bit of expense. Jesus, some sort of a token of something, a bit of recognition from them, or something.
Kim Gannon, remember early days talking to Kim about the clays and stuff like that, and it got little or no support. It's horrendous. As you probably rightly alluded there, Dean. Take the shooting out of the equation for 1 second. These are elite level sports people. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're really they're athletes, really, in their own right, and it obviously going to a world championships and going to these different locations throughout Europe and so on, and traveling to the UK to further your journey and your development and hone your skills. It all takes time, obviously, but costs money, and suppose people are willing to obviously to do that, and once you get into it, you don't even start to think about it. It just happens. But yeah, obviously we will run a bit of fundraising and stuff down along the line, probably to get a bit of backing to go to for the team and for everybody to get a bit of sport to go to the Worlds. But yeah, it's a massive opportunity, and this year more so than ever, there's so much chat and talk, and the excitement is just building
about it.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
Let's sing it from the rooftops, lads, because as I say, it's not very often. We go to, and look, we punch above our weight in most disciplines here, I think, in the country, but it's not very often that we, as you rightly pointed out there, that we've this caliber of sports people representing the country, going abroad, flying the flag, and with chances of competing at the very, very top of the sport, which is fantastic.
That's fucking brilliant, man. Absolutely class. Yeah, definitely.
And again, to be able to share the range with those lads, they're the most humble, soundest lads you'll come across. They're a wealth of knowledge, and they're more than happy to share it and help people grow to the best of their ability. And it's brilliant. A pleasure to be able to share the range with them and take information from them.
And obviously they're kind of looking after, Dan and Rory are kind of looking after, with Derek in the background, they're kind of looking after the Precision Rifle Series Ireland for the Centrefire. So obviously they're your point of contact for the Centrefire league and so on. But yeah, like Shane was saying, they're a huge wealth of knowledge, but also competing against them, I suppose, between me and Shane and all the rest of the guys on the line, it only brings us on competing against the best. You have to measure yourself, off them, or in any other sport, it's the same thing. You want to compete against the best. The only way to improve and grow and develop as an athlete or a shooter is actually to do this, and that's what it.
And also, you guys coming up and challenging and constantly, I would presume, keeping the pressure on in terms of the competition side, it can only be good for them as well. So it's a kind of a it's double-sided coin. They're obviously while there's the competitive juice and so on, they need that here, because when they're going to go over to or all 16 competitors are going further afield, that can only enhance the caliber of shooting when you're pushing each other constantly and trying to push the boat out a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Do you think that in Ireland it's that maybe target shooting and stuff as a sport would be an awful lot probably bigger or more popular if it was maybe even a little bit easier to get into? And what I mean by that is, one thing that always kind of annoyed me a little bit about Ireland was, and I suppose it's down to insurances and the laws and stuff like that, is, but we lived obviously in Australia, and like my wife, who is not into hunting, but we would have regularly went to one of the ranges and shot pistols, and she absolutely loves it. And there's no doubt if that was something you could do here without having to join a club, which it's not that you'd be against doing that, but do you know what I mean? For a couple of times she'd enjoy to do it, or for other people that maybe want to give it a go but don't have friends that are into the sport, or that sort of way, they can't just rock up to range, pay the fee and use the guns. Do you know what I mean? And to try it out, I think, wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't it? Like, I
We're
think
missing
it'd
the
be.
beat, like,
I think we are. We definitely are missing the beat. Definitely. Like lads that want to play football, or lads that want to do boxing,
to try out a sport,
to go to the club. Or,
yeah,
you know what I mean? To go and
nearly in every club in the country, they'll say, "Yeah, sure, you can try out and try for free." You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you want to try.
I think the only thing with kind of in that regard is, obviously we're dealing with firearms and so on. There obviously has to be that competency and that safety side of things too. So like the 22 is a perfect gateway, say, into the PRS side of things, because it's, safety is huge, and obviously you don't have the recoil that you would with the center fires, and that side of things. Obviously, safety comes into it as well. So
But what I mean is, like, say, rather than for say the person that's at home that has always said, "Geez, I wouldn't mind giving that a go," but I don't want to have to go out and even spend €1,000 on a rifle, and then only for it to go to the firearms superintendent and then him to go, "Well, you're not a member of a club, you don't have any ground, you don't have any permission to shoot," and you might say, "Well, I
suppose in that regard, coming from my father being a range operator, like, on a weekly basis, there's different phone calls from people that want to know, like, can they come out? They think it's a closed shop, that they can't come near the place. Like, they're all welcome out. Of a Saturday or Sunday, we tell them, come out, have a cup of tea in the clubhouse. Speak to some of the club members that are on the range, and I suppose they'll see the clay pigeon shooting, they'll see the rimfire stuff, the rifle and pistol stuff. And something will take their fancy more than another. And I suppose get out to your local club, no matter where you are, and talk to the guys and see what they run on. You'll be surprised how welcoming they are, with open doors to people to come in and see. I think a lot of the Irish think it's a closed sport. It's shut off, and they have it to themselves, and they don't want anyone, coming into the sport. Like, whereas it's totally the opposite.
Yeah.
Get out and get involved.
We noticed, I think we were down smoking soda last while. We had a couple of people come over that night and were mad interested in, how did it get started hunting, and do you have to have, did your grandfather have to have a license for you to get that? Was that that was the kind of, do you know what I mean?
That was
the thing, they were kind of, it was passed down. There was that kind of a
general
thing.
Consensus,
as you rightly said there, Shane, this is open, this is open to, the person that's living inside the town the same way as the lad that's living in the country. It's not a country. I know it's a country sport per se, and that we predominantly do it in the country. But it's not just for country people.
Yeah, it's not like trying to get into a Freemasons hall or something. Do you know what I mean? You can just go down.
No, it's open to everyone, and like, I suppose the other side, we might have someone there that might come twice or three times and say they take a warrant to clay pigeon shooting, they want to buy a shotgun. Well, we run firearm safety proficiency courses, so that's a necessity now when you're applying for a firearms license. So they'll go on that day course at the range. They'll be comfortable with their surroundings. They'll know the father, the instructor, and they'll do that course. They'll learn everything head to toe about firearm safety, and also the licensing. So they'll a lot of people don't know how you apply for your license or anything. So all that is done with you, and you're brought out onto the range and shown the firearm safety. There's a lot of knowledge there that's openly to be shared to people that want to get involved.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, well said. Well, before we let you go, if Shane, we'll start with you. Have you anything coming up, like competition wise, or yourself, or have you any plans this year or going into next year? Or?
Yeah, so it's a busy year, I suppose. I have the 5 22 matches. in the Midlands for the Rimfire, and then there's the Centrefire League. We have one match done, so we have another 4 to go. I'll go to the UK in June. I was in the UK in February at a match. I'm planning to go again in June for another match. And then in September, the big one, traveling to Colorado to the World Championships. So it's a busy year, a lot of match days and cleaning days and practice days. But it's good.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. What about yourself, Dean? Are you any plans?
Yeah, much the same as Shane, really. But planning on heading over to the UK in April. So there's a 2-day match over there. So just after the weekend after the Rimfire. So try get over there to that. I won't be able to get over to the one in June. Unfortunately, the brother's getting married. Such an inconvenience. He could have arranged it slightly differently, but sure.
I bet he could be a younger brother. Is he a younger brother? Is he?
He is, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Terrible carry on.
Oh my God.
But yeah, other than that, it's kind of shoot all the Centrefire matches here in Ireland. Try get over to the UK as much as possible after June, and then obviously Colorado is the big one in September. So it's kind of all systems go for there, and it's just building towards September. So that's kind of the end goal.
That is absolutely brilliant.
You get a bit of rough shooting in before that as well, lads, as well. Or stalking.
Definitely
I wouldn't think so. No, I'd say there'd be enough going on in my household anyway. So I'm a little one of 3 years of age. Mammy is good to let me away all the days I do get away. So I'll take it easy with what I have.
I am an absolute nightmare. I'll get out as much as I can when I can. So yeah,
good man.
Whether it's stalking or vermin control or PRS, I'll probably be out and about there somewhere.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah, well, you're dead right. Yeah. And we wish you the absolute best of luck wherever you can. Make sure
absolute best of luck, right, lads.
Keep us posted and give us that date again. So we're saying the 7th of April in the Midland Shooting Range. What time is that kicking off at?
It will be probably starting about 9. So 0 on and check in about 9.
Yeah.
Obviously you could be there a bit before 9, and then the shoot will probably start around 10 a.m. sharp. So probably be down on the line to start at 10 and kick off from there. So that's kind of the way the days run. Probably 9 o'clock, 0 check in, and then obviously safety brief, and then kick into it around 10, or hopefully even a little bit before 10. And hopefully we get a good crowd down there. There was a good crowd actually at the first match we ran the last day at the Midlands. So it'd be lovely to see all the people and guys and girls that were at the last match there at the next match again. Obviously some new faces. It'd be lovely to see some new faces.
Brilliant.
And if anyone wants to find out any more, check out all your links are on our page. But if anyone doesn't know, it's Shooter's Instinct is Shane's, and Dean, you're on
Stalk and Ventures and Gear there on Instagram.
Yeah, very good. And
our emails will be up on the Precision Rifle Series Ireland Facebook page there as well to check in for the match and so on. So
brilliant. And look, give us tag us in one of them, and we'll share it to our group as well, and with the email address and stuff like that. We get it around.
Absolutely super stuff, lads. Yeah, super stuff. Well, listen, we won't hold you up. Thanks a million for coming on the podcast,
gentlemen.
Thanks very much for having us.
No, we'll have you on again when you win that World Championship.
Bring it home, lads.
Really, really. Thanks, lads, for having us on.
At international level, no,
oh, Jesus Christ!
Before I get too many of these, no, the very best of luck, lads. Bring it home.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the platform, obviously, to promote it and give a little bit more information. And if there is obviously interest in it, either myself or Shane, or there's definitely other people there who are more than happy to, come on and further the information and journey about PRS and that side of things. So
absolutely,
definitely stuff, lads.
Without
great ambassadors for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Continued success.
Yeah, absolutely. We might now need to come and buy a fucking rifle. Lads, over
Get
now.
down to the match first. Get down to the match first.
Well, over now. Thanks a million again for coming on. And yeah, we'll be talking. Keep us posted on everything that's happening. Watches.
Will do.
Will do.
Take it easy, lads.
Over and out.
Thanks, lads.
Cheers, lads. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Good evening.
Bye.
And that was the lads. Two hard sound lads, I have to say.
Two right lads now.
Two right good lads, in
Two
fairness.
right boys.
Good lads now, in fairness, yeah. But yeah, I think that is interesting. That PRS League. I think they're definitely they're onto something there. I think that's a great
Absolutely.
idea,
I think the beauty of it is you get a little bit of a melding of the two worlds. Don't you?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah, that's put very, very well. I think that's the beauty of it, is that it's. I think lads that hunt. I'll be honest with you, think about sitting down and dialing in this and dialing that and checking wind and this, that, and taking one shot every 20 minutes or so. Probably boring, I think. A lot of lads probably would say that's not for them. But I think this even when I was here and I was like, geez, I actually would love to give that a go. That sounds deadly.
I love going out, as I said, totally, and I want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But after about an hour, and grand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's one or two shots, one distance, push out, do another one. I wouldn't continuously, and I know some other guys live for that, and
but
so on and so
I
forth.
I think this PRS is game changing stuff now. Yeah, I think it's
cool.
Really cool,
It'd be it's definitely something I'd be interested in now.
Yeah, I would be the same myself. I'll be honest with you, I would. I think it's cool, man. Yeah, and some of the gear they have and stuff is class.
And it's cool as well. Like there's these kind of little communities.
Yeah,
like within. People think shooting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
but it's not. There's so many different.
Yes.
Even in the clay world, Shane alluded to some of the disciplines within that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have target shooting now. You have the different leagues emerging. And
yes.
I think it's cool as well. The 2-2 league is brilliant.
I think so.
Cheap as chips. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think so.
I know, and I'm not trying to. But when you go up to the higher calibers, obviously. The day becomes that bit more expensive.
More expensive, yeah.
But like for people starting out and getting their and I always say, like, if it's something you're passionate about anyway, the generally people like ourselves who do hunt and so on and so forth, you don't have. We have a couple of bottles here or whatever on the podcast, but we wouldn't be huge drinkers or so you spend your few bob in your hunting gear and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
your hobby and your passion. So. And I think I was thinking the other day, definitely thinking the other day, how many times, well, definitely, there'll be less times I'll be pulling big donkeys out of fucking swamps, you know what I'm saying, as I get older.
Yeah.
Hopefully have a big donkey, be able to, Dylan, if you're listening, to pull it out for me. But, I'll be able to shoot from the Jeep, maybe. It's over there. Pull it out.
Drag him out.
But like as you get, get older, and you're saying, a couple of deer a year is fine, and that might reduce down. This is a cool little thing to be able to complement the hunting.
Yeah,
and it's not.
Yeah, and I think like it is probably some lads would be a little bit. Apprehensive about going to some of these things because they think it is like this almost secret fraternity, and you're going to be like, if you rock up, lads are going to look at you like, who the fuck? These boys would be the only thing that these boys would be absolutely fucking delighted to see new faces down there, boys or girls, men or women, doesn't matter. Just to get down to show a bit of interest and have a chat with the lads and see what it's all about and give it a go. It's going to cost you 20 quid for your day and a couple of rounds for the gun. So. Why not give it a go down the Midlands?
Absolutely.
And if you've never been to the Midlands, it's a class app, savage spot, and it's easy to get to from anywhere. So get stuck
and send us in photos and pictures and let us know how he's get on. Mm-hmm. We'd be delighted to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
People, new blood getting down and trying it out, or even going down for the natter or the look and seeing, checking out, see would it be for them?
Absolutely, 110%, man. Without a shadow of a doubt. Come here, we do a bit of news. Sinead. And now for a roundup of what's going on around the country, it's the IHP News. News time, lad.
What do you have for us?
I'm going to kick it off there first. This is a cool one and it's local to us here. It is Prosperous Game and Conservation Club are doing a poker classic in Dowling's Lounge in Prosperous, apparently home of a class pint of Guinness. Saturday 6th of April, and it's commencing at 8:30 p.m. sharp. Prize money of €1,000 minimum. Tickets are 30 quid. Contact 087 210 107. Nice little one.
Yeah,
Dowling's in
contact.
Prosperous.
I think Anthony Ward. I think is the
Andy
man
Ward.
there. He'll find him on Facebook and stuff like that. Yeah,
Lovely
Dowling's
stuff.
Home of Christy Moore. Christy Moore. Well, he would have played there regular enough.
Would he?
back in the day.
Okay, okay.
There's a picture outside him there, outside Dowling's.
Outside
pub years
Dowling's
ago.
pub, the Bowl Christie.
Yeah.
Come on, Christie.
Next one feeds into similar type of what we were talking about. The Midlands Bullseye 360 competition for March will now take place on Saturday the 16th, which is this Saturday. Please take note of the date, 16th of March. Hope to see us all there. Regards, Paul Deegan. You find all the details out in the Midland National Shooting Centre of Ireland.
Nice one, nice one. Over to Dundalk now. This is Dundalk and District GPA, and it is a game meet fest. It is in Burns of number 10 Hill Street at 10:30 p.m. Tickets are €15, and that is on Saturday the 23rd of March, which is next Saturday.
That's 8:30 p.m. now, just to correct
What
you
did
there.
I say?
10:30.
Oh,
Ah, sure,
sorry.
look at
Oh,
your-
Jesus Christ. I'm
all kinds of
yeah.
backwards.
Sorry, 8:30
Number
p.m.
10.
Number
It's
10. 8:30 p.m. And that is, Burns of number 10 Hill Street, of course.
Yeah.
Saturday, 23rd of March.
Get in there and get your face your stuff, lads.
Who doesn't want to eat some game meats?
Yeah, absolutely. 15 quid ahead.
Absolutely.
Happy days.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah.
What do we have next here? We have it's 100 registered English sporting targets. This is in County Donegal. Bookings are now open for the 100 target ESP competition at Donegal CPC on Saturday and Sunday the 23rd and the 24th of March. Tea times kick off at 8:30 a.m. Gear up for an exciting shoot that promises thrills and challenges you won't want to miss out on. Plus, it's a qualifying shoot for the prestigious World Championship. You can book online there. All the details there on the ICTSA Facebook or ICTSA website. And it's the Shooting and Fitask News Ireland. You'll see all the details there.
Super stuff. Nice one. Over to another one now, and it is the Bracknell and District Game Conservation Club 50 board open clay shoot. High gun is €200. It's on Sunday, 7th of April. The venue is Chevy Bog, Bracknell, County Offaly. Prizes in all stands. 20 quid entry. Begins at 10 a.m. All are welcome. You want to see any more of that, have a look on Rural Pursuits Facebook page, and the post is up there.
Brilliant stuff.
That concludes this week's news, man.
Happy days.
What's the plan for the week? We spoke there a second ago. You might head out tomorrow.
If I get a chance tomorrow, I might get out tomorrow. I don't know whether shooting or fishing or doing something anyway. Might get out for an hour.
Nice.
Similar to yourself now. I've had a week of it. I need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So I'm going to either throw the rifle in the Jeep or the fishing rod or boat.
Super stuff. Super stuff. Yeah.
I go fishing for deer.
Go fishing for deer. Yeah. They were in something similar to a fucking
Well,
pond where the
tell you,
last
man,
one was gone.
I was just telling Brenny at the start here, where no to self, don't shoot them in there,
Yeah, but
sure.
You have to. You can't fucking hunt
Deer
them.
bang, yeah.
Bring them home and shoot them in the yard. Not going to happen.
The other fella was up on the high seat. We have a high seat up there, and I was coming through one side, and sure, within a couple of minutes, it was bang, bang. And I said, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah.
Then I was starting to say, I started to think, I hope one of us missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Not in a bad way.
Yeah, so long as it's not me, though.
I'm just happy.
Yeah.
No, I would have took it, man.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was walking across, and within 2 seconds, I was down to my arse in fucking water.
Jesus Christ.
But anyway, we ended up, we had a good day. And then, of course, I put up the video of me trying to drag that, as Owen calls them there, swamp donkey.
Swamp donkey, yeah.
And Rob said to me, should we quarter it and bring it out? And I said, no, we'll drag this one.
Yeah.
So we dragged it like a pair of eagles, but we didn't. The second one, we quartered it.
Quarter it, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah, it has to be done.
Some
with
common
them.
sense came into
Common
the equation.
sense, absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But I felt
yeah,
every back, my knees, back had his harness on here and had fucking burn marks on the two stops of my shoulders.
So are those.
Isn't that what's all
Yeah,
about?
absolutely, man.
One of the
yeah.
boys on Messenger was saying there, we'll listen to you whinge and complain about for an hour on
Yeah. Not me.
no. It's a 2-hour special, motherfucker.
Yeah,
I know, I'm
exactly.
only joking. Davey said there, I think he summed it up, is that's exactly why we do it.
That's it, yeah.
When we're old and decrepit, we can think back of the days that we were able to do it. So,
absolutely, man.
and it was a beautiful morning up there anyway. The sun coming up and
which are fucking rare these days.
oh man,
Ridiculous. The rain is
really cool. I was out with the grand Jan Meister, Janis, previous to that, and you always learn something. I think I put up a picture there. You know, we were tracking a stag, but Janis was just pointing out a few things about the claws at the back. You know, and the reason they're leaving a print, you know, so you have the two front ones, and then you have the two at the back. But when a stag gets older, they start to leave them kind of prints because they get longer. So he was saying that's probably a stag. Maybe it's, you know, starting to, go back in its antlers, well back in its antlers, if any. It's mad what you learn, you know, just picking up small little snippets.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so
that was cool.
Every day is a school day.
Absolutely, man. Without a shadow of a doubt, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt. So that's your plans for the weekend. Any that'll keep you taking over. Are you going out Paddy's Day or any plans for the?
Well, I have a small little matter of. By the time my wife does hear this, she'll be at a birthday party, I'd say.
Oh, right, okay.
It's Saturday night.
Okay.
Her 40th, so we have that, and then I presume one of the kids or. For them, or probably in parades somewhere.
Okay. So,
some of that sort of stuff to be done, and I might just get we're having a belated Mother's Day because my mum was away at a wedding last week, so we're having a bit of a get together tomorrow night. So for her,
savage stuff.
So busy weekend.
Well, we'll sure keep you going.
Keep me out of trouble.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Right, we'll wrap it up there, will we?
Wrap her up.
If you're heading out, have a good weekend. Enjoy your Paddy's Day, and keep it right.
Stay safe and stay hunting.
Take it easy.